The biggest question going into this final, Chris, I want to pick your brain on this one more than any other point that we're going to touch on, because I want to know what questions you have going into this game. I really want to know what's keeping you up at night, so to say.
Will the defense hold up against those wingers, man? Will Chelsea's defense hold up against Manchester City's efficient false nine that just terrorizes everybody? The way Mahrez interchanges with Sterling and Bernardo Silva and Foden, they have just so many weapons.
Yeah,
And Chelsea are locked and loaded at the back. Rudiger's a stud now in the Tuchel. I don't know what the hell happened there. And
it's the
and
language.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he just didn't like Frank, but we're playing great. But Mendy's so that's another question. Is Mendy going to play? Is
Yeah,
Conte going to
yeah,
be?
yeah,
And
yeah.
if Conte and Mendy play, are they going to be at 100%? So it's just, will the defense hold up? If Chelsea's defense holds up and we come up to play and we have a clean sheet, which we've done just as much as Manchester City, then maybe we have a shot. But if Manchester City run rampant and they do what they do against everybody else, it's gonna be a long day, man.
Don't you think that a clean sheet for Chelsea is more than half of the battle?
Yeah, it's everything. If we can make it to penalties, who know? There you go. Who knows what can happen? But the
Yeah.
thing with Manchester City, oh man, and I don't want to get slaughtered for it. I really don't, because the thing with Manchester City, if you're gonna pick a hole at them, you would say it's that they play really high up and that
Mhm.
you can try to get a counter against them. But Ruben Diaz and John Stones are playing perfect football. So they really have no weakness. Like, they really covered it up. They bought perfect with Ruben Diaz. Like, and then Neil Walker's playing out of his mind. Uh, uh, I can't remember the left back's name. Alexander.
Zinchenko.
Yeah, Zevchenko, your boy. Man, yeah, I'm sorry, but yeah, they're all. I mean, but they're all playing great.
Yeah.
That's someone who you would say of, oh, they didn't pay 50, 60 million dollars for Zinchenko. That's
No.
their weakness. But no, he's great. Like, they're really organized, and this year they really, like, plugged in all the holes that they had on as a team. So man, it's tough. But if Chelsea's gonna do it, it's playing counterattacking football. It's a clean sheet. It's controlling the midfield with Kante, Kovacic, or Jorginho, whichever the two of the three who play. Hopefully, Kante is one of the two,
Yeah.
and hoping that you get Timo Werner out on a run, because or Christian Pulisic or Ziyech, one of those fast wingers out on a run, because we're not going to control the ball against Manchester City and Pep Guardiola. Like, I can sit here and say Chelsea played great football this year. We were really on the front foot and we really progressed as a club in that way. We're not going to go out there in the Champions League final and control the ball against Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. Like, that's just not going to happen. And if that's the reality of the situation, yeah, we got to lock up shop. We got to have a clean sheet. That's how you're going out there. From every player, even Timo Werner, you got to go out there and think clean sheet. That's the way forward.
The good thing with your attack though is that they do sacrifice on defense quite a lot.
Big time.
Timo
Big time.
Werner is not afraid of dropping back and making a couple tackles and helping his defense out, because he knows that eventually that's going to turn into a scoring opportunity at some point. And going back to your point about N'Golo Kante, you want your best players out there in a final. Always, of course. And even as neutral, myself being a neutral, of course I want N'Golo Kante out there, because when you get to a final, you need to see the best players. You absolutely need to see the best players. And whether it's for a simple argument where, later on, well, someone can say, oh, yeah, but we didn't have our star midfielder. And we don't want that. We want the best 11 to show up. And yeah, that's a great question that you brought up, of course. My biggest question is about Pep Guardiola. Will Pep Guardiola overthink his approach to this game?
Oh, I hope God. I hope so.
Yeah, as a Chelsea fan, of course, you hope that he plays with Bernardo Silva at left back, or he does some crazy stuff and he only keeps John Stones and Ruben Diaz on defense. That's what you're hoping for. But that hasn't been the trend, because it looks like Pep Guardiola has gotten a little over himself, and maybe he's put his ego aside and said, you know what, let me just keep this as simple as possible. Let me not overcomplicate the tactics. Let me not overcomplicate the game plan, because it's already complex as it is. Why do I have to add more the day of? Why do I have to oversaturate my players with tactical information? That's my biggest question. It's also been 10 years, almost to the day, 10 years since Pep Guardiola managed in a Champions League final. 10 years. That's a long time for a world-class manager. 10 years. And he's finally back. How will he approach this game? That's the question. If he absolutely has to stick with what worked throughout the season. He has to keep De Bruyne as a false nine. He has to keep Phil Foden and Riyad Mahrez on the pitch if he wants the best results. And then, of course, you can always bring in Sergio Aguero. Imagine that for City fans, if Aguero were to score a winner in this final. I mean, poetic, beautiful for City fans, of course. But I just want to know what Pep Guardiola's mind is seeing, what his mind is working like these next few days, because my goodness, I think he's probably going to get a grand total of 6 minutes of sleep, because he's going to overthink everything, or he's planning. I mean, his mind is just racing all the time, and I want to see what his approach is like. Did he overthink it, or did he keep it simple? That's the biggest question. And I also have a question regarding Chelsea. Pulisic or Havertz? Who are you playing?
Oh man, I just said this earlier today. I'm going Havertz, and it's only because I think I like Kai as a number 9 against this as a false 9 against this Manchester City defense. I think him having Kai with Werner, and then you can throw Pulisic out there as the third. There's nothing wrong with that. Those three can interchange and
Yeah.
really pose a menace. But I think for this game, for having those two guys out there, the third winger that I would have out there is Ziyech, because he would pick the pass and
Okay.
have Timo Werner and Kai running those channels that would really give guys like John Stones nightmares. And you would make Ederson come out and really play sweeper, which isn't. I know Ederson's great with his feet, but it's not what you want if you're Manchester City. And I think that's what I would go with. Yet I know that the American media, the moment that 11 gets released, would say, "So where's Christian Pulisic going to next?" Because that's what they do. I mean, the moment he's not playing for Chelsea, they're like, "He has to go," and then he plays the next 3 matches, and they don't talk about it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would go Kai. I think Kai interchanging with, and don't get me wrong, I like Pulisic in this game too. I think Pulisic, if he doesn't play, bring him in the 60 and the 70 and
Mhm.
unleash him. If you're down a goal or if you're up a goal, just unleash him, because he's gonna be Christian Pulisic. When he doesn't start games, he comes in pissed off, and
Yes,
it's
that's true.
great. It's great because he comes in and he's like, "I'm gonna show you why I should have played," and he did that against Real Madrid, and he got the game-winning assist to Mason Mount, and it's awesome. Like, he has that. I told you, he has that mentality where he's a big game player, and he knows, oh, this game is being watched by millions. This is where I gotta perform. He has that mentality. I don't want to say that swagger, where he knows, oh, this is the games I'm up for. So even if he comes in as a sub, he'll come in and try to make the difference, whether it's to get the tying goal or to get the game-winning goal. And that's what you want from your subs. You don't want guys who are thinking, "Oh, I didn't start the Champions League final. I'm already. I can't wait to talk to my agent after this and try to get a club to try to get a move to a big club." Christian Pulisic is gonna go in there and be pissed off and try to win the game on his own. or with his teammates because he, like you said, he just got the game-winning assist. But yeah, you can't go wrong. But I would go with Kai Havertz, uh, Timo, and Ziyech on Saturday.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You need to have a great player on the bench too, because you never know when you're gonna need him, and you never know what you're gonna need him for. You just have to be able to bring him in. And if you have that luxury of having Pulisic there ready, like a dog just foaming at the mouth, ready to play. Oh my goodness, that's scary for Manchester City. If the game is like tied 1-1 at like the 65-minute marker and they bring out Christian Pulisic, oh, good luck. Good luck with that. All right. Players to watch. Who you got?
Christian Pulisic. No, I mean he scored against Manchester City. So like you said, that's scary as hell for Manchester City. If he starts or comes off the bench, he's the one you're gonna be scared for. But I'll give you this. I'll give you this little X factor. Timo Werner. Timo
Me
Werner
too.
is
Yeah.
gonna come in and he's gonna. This is a game he knows. If I score in this game, my transfer fee is repaid. This whole year of nonsense where they're talking about how I'm not a big time player, out the window. You score in this one, you contribute in this one. This is the one that matters. And if he breaks those runs against John Stones, I mean, again, I know Ruben Diaz is going to be out there too, but Timo Werner has game breaking speed, and that's not something you can really coach against. Like Ruben Diaz, for being the footballer that he is, if you can't outrun somebody, you can't outrun somebody. So Timo Werner, I really have a feeling that's how football is sometimes. Like you can be offsides and hit goalposts and hit crossbar all year, and then once it matters most, just be at the perfect place at the perfect time and bang. So yeah, man, Timo Werner is my dark horse for this Saturday for sure.
Love it, because that's one of my players to look out for too. Yes, Timo Werner. And yes, for the reasons that you mentioned, but I am really just curious to see what role he's gonna take. Is he gonna be that number 9 figure that Chelsea has been putting him up for, or is he going to be a little more creative? Is he going to focus on disrupting rather than finishing? If he focuses on disrupting, and there's someone there to finish the chances that he creates with those runs, I don't know, man. It's not looking very nice for Manchester City. And like you said, that speed, you can't coach against and you can't coach it. So Timo Werner just has that speed, blinding speed, impossible to keep up with, and he is quite the player. He really is. And it really frustrates me when people talk about Timo Werner as a flop, because those are the people that just look at the stats. Numbers are important. The stats are important. Of course they are. But watch the 90 minutes. Watch what Timo Werner does off the ball. You need to watch what he does off the ball. I don't know if there's a stat for runs that by another player that led to a goal. That's probably not even possible to track. But if there was a way to track those types of runs, or runs that generated space to create a goal, something like that, Timo Werner would be number 1 in like all the top 5 leagues in Europe. Right? Because that's just what he does. He's really good at it. And granted, I'm pretty sure there's going to be someone that's going to be like, well, the number 10 from Brest in Ligue 1 will actually, yeah, okay, we get it. But Timo Werner is a guy that I've been watching a lot this season, and because I really liked him at Leipzig and I wanted to see how he did at Chelsea. And so far, he has a lot to improve. But like you said, and you said this perfectly, should he score on Saturday? That's it. That's it. All those dollars, pounds, euros, whatever they paid for him, it's all paid off. It's all paid off. All paid off with a goal in the Champions League final. And if they win it, my goodness, they'll give some money or they'll give some more money to Leipzig. And on Manchester City's side, to me, Of course, we can talk about De Bruyne, Foden, Mahrez. Absolutely. But to me, the player to watch, Ruben Diaz. Ruben Diaz took over that Manchester City defense like a storm. And he took that spot, hasn't given it back. Rightfully so. Best defender that City has. How will he contribute to this game? Will he be the game wrecker that he can be on defense? Also, I don't remember seeing him in like a big time game like this one. I don't think he was in the Portugal national team when they won the Euros. I think he was too young. So he hasn't played in one of these games. I really hope, based on the season that he's had, I genuinely hope that he doesn't have one of those mistakes where the game just completely breaks up because of that one mistake and it just falls apart. Ruben Diaz, player to watch. On a Pep Guardiola team, yes, I'm picking a defender. On a Pep Guardiola team, I'm picking Ruben Diaz, and I just want to see can he continue that great season that he's had so far, and with the last game to play, how will he perform? Anything else you want to add? The players to watch.
For City, it's so tough, man. Just they have so many guys that just you can go De Bruyne, you can go Foden. I'd probably go Riyad Mahrez 'cause that's the guy who's just been consistently just killing everybody. Like he's
Yeah,
just he has so much quality and he's a great player. So that's the one that probably gives me the most nightmares. So I would go Riyad Mahrez. I think if they run away with it, it's gonna be Mahrez probably the one scoring most of those goals. So
gotcha. Awesome. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the managers. Thomas Tuchel, Pep Guardiola. They managed against each other in Germany. Now they're back. And I think this is very important to note. Thomas Tuchel, as Chelsea manager, has not lost against Pep Guardiola. Just beat him twice. FA Cup, Premier League. How do we feel about this managerial matchup? Who do you think has the upper hand? Guardiola or Tuchel?
oof. I still think it's Guardiola.
Mm-hmm.
Only because he has that pedigree of I've won this before, I've been here before. If Guardiola loses this, nobody looks at him any different. I mean, he's the man. He's one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time. Tuchel, while he's a great manager and he's an elite manager, a world class manager, and he's proving that right now with what the job he's done with Chelsea and what he did with PSG in hindsight with he's the one who got him to the Champions League final they've been coveting this whole time, and then they fired him for it. Yeah, he's looking like he's well on his way to being one of those all-time greats, but Guardiola is just on another stratosphere completely. So I think he has the upper hand because he's one of those all-time greats, and I think Tuchel knows that when they've asked him about it after the second time that he won it, he had a very Kobe Bryant like demeanor in which he was like, "Job's not finished. You know, we got to still go out there and win it when it matters. We still got the Champions League final." So I think Tuchel knows Guardiola's the big fish. And he's the big guy on campus, and it's for a reason, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you. I think Pep Guardiola is the man. He has revolutionized this game with tactics that, of course, obviously, like they existed, but he took them in, molded them a little bit into his way, and then he presented them to the world. And I think that on a tactical level, no one competes with Guardiola. I refuse to compare anyone to Pep Guardiola. I will not do that. But what I will do is talk about the mental edge and some of the things that have happened recently. Thomas Tuchel has a bit of an upper hand. He hasn't lost to Pep Guardiola as a Chelsea manager. Can he make it 3-0 when it matters the most? And he can definitely motivate himself by saying, Guardiola's not beat my team. He has not beat my Chelsea. He has not done that.